right, let's dive in. Welcome, everyone. Today, we're doing a deep dive.
Right.
But zeroing in on just one single source.
That's right.
It's the introduction script for a channel called the Buddha AI Ancient Wisdom for Modern Minds.
Exactly. So we've just got this text, and our job really is to pull it apart. You know, what's the main story it's telling? What are the key ideas popping out? And fundamentally, what's this Buddha AI channel actually trying to do according to its own introduction?
Okay, let's unpack it. I mean, the name itself immediately catches your eye, doesn't it? The Buddha AI.
It does.
It sets itself up as a digital sanctuary. That's the phrase they use.
Yeah.
A place trying to bring ancient wisdom right into our sort of modern chaos.
Promising things like mindfulness, enlightenment, and truly transformative wisdom. Big promises.
Yeah. And what's really interesting right off the bat is that name. It's a real juxtaposition, isn't it? You've got Buddha, the historical figure.
And AI,
Yeah.
you know, super modern tech.
Exactly. And the text immediately connects it back to Siddhartha Gautama, born a prince, over 2,500 years ago, ancient Nepal.
Yeah, and it really stresses that his early life was incredibly privileged, sheltered deliberately inside the palace walls, kept away from any kind of suffering.
Right, he basically had everything, a totally insulated life. But, well, that couldn't really last, could it?
No, and that's where the text highlights these pivotal moments, the ones that shattered that perfect illusion, often called the foresights.
The foresights.
Yes, these encounters he had outside the palace, seeing an old person, a sick person, a dead body, and then finally an ascetic, someone looking for spiritual answers.
And the source makes it clear these weren't just like passing glances.
No, not at all.
It paints them as deeply impacting him, showing him the stark reality of suffering, the impermanence that, well, everyone faces eventually.
And this realization, this profound shock, as the text puts it, was the trigger, the catalyst for an incredible decision, the Great Renunciation.
Giving it all up.
Everything. His title, the wealth, even his family. He just walked away to start the spiritual quest.
Leaving behind all that power and comfort. Just seeking answers, right? How to end suffering, find some kind of liberation.
And the source says he spent years trying different things, different paths, even really extreme ascetic practices, self-denial.
But interestingly, the text points out that he found neither extreme worked. Not the total indulgence of his youth.
Nor the extreme self-punishment he tried later. Neither held the truth he was searching for.
Which led him then to the idea of the middle way.
Exactly, a balanced path, avoiding those extremes.
And it was on this path, the middle way, while he was in deep meditation under the Bodhi tree, as it's known, that he finally reached enlightenment.
The text calls it his awakening, gaining these incredibly deep insights into, well, the nature of reality, the reasons we suffer, and importantly, how to get free from it.
And right there, in that moment, Siddhartha Gautama becomes the Buddha.
Meaning the awakened one. And crucially, the source points out, he didn't just keep this insight to himself.
No, he spent the rest of his life sharing it, teaching this path towards inner peace, compassion, real happiness.
His very first teaching, which the source frames as absolutely foundational, laid out these key ideas for dealing with suffering.
Including the Four Noble Truths, which are basically acknowledging suffering exists, understanding its root cause, knowing it can end.
And then the path to actually make it end.
And that path is spelled out more in the Eightfold Path. The text mentions this as a practical guide, covering things like ethical behavior, mental discipline, meditation, and developing wisdom.
Right, it's the how-to.
And the source notes, his teachings attracted followers, forming the Sangha, this community dedicated to the practice. And while his physical life ended, the parinirvana.
His influence, this legacy of wisdom, didn't stop. It's kept inspiring people for, well, millennia. Over 2,500 years.
Which brings us right back around to the AI part of the name.
Yeah, because the source frames this whole legacy as incredibly relevant now, today.
It emphasizes how these ancient insights about compassion, mindfulness, the nature of reality, they still hit home. They offer a timeless way to find freedom from suffering, cultivate peace, happiness, even in our modern world.
And that's where the Buddha AI channel seems to position itself, like a bridge.
Taking these ancient, timeless teachings, this potential for awakening that started with Siddhartha.
And blending them, they say, with modern AI insights. The goal being to make them understandable and actually practical for your life right now.
The text gets pretty specific about what you might get from this mix, helping you navigate a chaotic world, find inner peace.
Clearing mental clutter through mindfulness.
And awakening your true potential by applying this wisdom.
They mention the content, too. Things like guided meditations, deep dives into concepts kind of like what we're doing now, but based on their view.
And insightful documentaries as well.
It sounds like they're aiming for a broad audience. Whether you're already deep into these teachings, meditate regularly, or maybe you're just curious.
Just wondering how ancient wisdom might give you some perspective, some benefit day to day.
The stated goal right there in the source text is to elevate your mind and soothe your soul.
So if we pull it all together, based just on this introduction, the Buddha AI channel sees itself as like a modern translator.
It's a conduit.
Taking the Buddha's historical journey, his discoveries the middle way, Four Noble Truths, Eightfold Path, this whole rich legacy.
And presenting it using modern tools, specifically mentioning AI, to tackle today's problems, the chaos, the mental overload you might feel.
So connecting it back, the source material isn't just a history lesson. It's actively framing these teachings as living tools, practical things, perfectly suited for modern life.
Finding inner peace, mental clarity, unlocking potential, it directly mirrors the channel's stated purpose and promise.
It really is quite a narrative packed into one introduction script. From that sheltered prince facing suffering, searching, finding enlightenment, and leaving this incredible legacy.
It definitely lays the foundation for why these ideas are still seen as so relevant, so guiding today, especially when presented through a modern lens, like this Buddha AI channel plans to do.
It certainly provides the why, the narrative and the core concepts that the channel says it wants to make accessible and actionable for anyone looking for wisdom now.
Okay, so as we kind of wrap up this look at the intro for the Buddha AI channel, we've traced that story. Siddhartha's protected youth, the foresights changing everything.
His search, the enlightenment under the Bodhi tree, and then the core teachings he shared. Four Noble Truths, Eightfold Path, and how that legacy lives on.
And the source material really drives home that these aren't just historical footnotes. They're presented as powerful tools for today, for finding peace, clarity, unlocking potential. That's the promise in this intro.
Exactly. The introduction really sets up the channel as this modern gateway to timeless principles, specifically tailored, it seems, for contemporary challenges.
Right. Now, here's something maybe to mull over, thinking about what the source actually says. It talks about blending ancient, timeless teachings with modern AI insights to make them accessible and relevant.
Okay.
So the question is, how specifically, how might a tool like modern AI actually interact with, or maybe even reframe, really profound concepts like the Four Noble Truths or the Eightfold Path, especially for a mind, soaked in technology and constant information?
That's interesting. What are the possibilities there? And maybe what are the challenges, too? Trying to merge that deep ancient wisdom with something as new and, well, potentially disruptive as AI. How could that work in a way that genuinely helps someone today? What might that look like?